Ida from BSHM 3E9, and in this video I am going to make a video about the 1987 Constitution, the Republic of the Philippines. My thought or explanation about the Article number 1 National Territory. In this article, the national territory comprises the Philippine archipelago with all the islands and waters embraced within and all other territories over which the Philippines has sovereignty or jurisdiction consisting of its terrestrial, fluvial, and aerial domains, including its territorial sea, the seaweed, the subsoil, and submarine. So, for me, in this article, the territory is also important because in international law, the jurisdiction, which is an attribute of the state's sovereignty, is exercised primarily on territorial basis. So the territorial principle is also important because of the state's jurisdictorial competence. So in Article number 1, which is the national territory, means all the surfaces, areas, subsurface, waters, and atmosphere comprising of the country and its exclusive economic zone. Territoriality remains the principle by which the members of the community are to be defined as belonging to a state. So therefore, without a defined territory, there can be no sovereignty, and without recognition by other states of the defined territory, there can be no sovereignty. Article number 2, Declaration of Principles and State Policies. So in this article, there are 28 sections in this article. There are 1 to 28. So there are also the state policies. So my thought or explanation about this article number 2, it is the policy of the state to safeguard the integrity of its territory and well-being of its citizens, particularly the youth, from the harmful effects of dangerous on their physical and mental well-being, and to defend the same against acts or omission detrimental to their development and preservation. Toward its end, the government shall pursue an unrelenting campaign against the trafficking and use of dangerous drugs and other similar substances through an integrated system of planning, implementation similar substances through an integrated system of planning, implementation and enforcement of anti-drug abuse policies, programs, and projects. So therefore, in this article, it is a renunciation of war as an instrument of national policy, adherence to the policy of peace with all nations. Article number 3, the Bill of Rights. It is all about the establishes the relationship of the individual or to the state, and defines the right of individual by limiting the lawful powers of the state. It is one important political achievement of Filipinos. It means ang karapatan ay batayan ng karapat-dapat na kalayaan para sa lahat ng tao, anumang edad, rasa, kulay, kasarian, wika, relihiyon, paniniwalang politikal, nasyonal o panlipunang pinanggalingan. Also, it is guarantees civil rights and liberties to the individual, like we have freedom of speech, press, and religion. And it's also reserving rights to the Filipinos or the people in the Philippines. And also, ano ang purpose sa Bill of Rights sa Pilipinas? As a constitution of liberty, it enumerates the right of the people mainly in the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights, which comes right after the Declaration of Principle of the State of the Philippines in policies, a 1987 Constitution. It is the significant part of the framework for the protection of human rights in the Philippines. In Article number 4, the citizenship. So we all know the word citizenship. So the citizenship, for me, it refers to the membership of a person to a democratic state which bestows upon him or her full civil and political rights, and the corresponding duty to support the maintain allegiance to the state. And in Section 4, Citizenship of the Philippines, who marries aliens shall retain their citizenship. Ang meaning dito is, like me, I am a Filipino citizenship kasi na I was born here in the Philippines. So my citizen, I am a Filipino citizen. And the citizenship of the article is the status of being a citizen, along with the rights, duties, and privileges of being a citizen. For example, a citizen For example, citizenship is someone being born in the United States and having access to all the same freedoms and rights as those already living in the US. Meaning, kung where you are, what country you are born, you are a citizenship in that country. Then, what are the rules and rights of citizenship in the Philippines? It shall be the duty of a citizen to be a loyal to the republic and to honor the Philippine flag and to defend the state and contribute to its development and welfare, to uphold a constitution and obeys the laws. Article number 5, suffrage. In this article, there are two sections. First is the suffrage will be exercised by all citizens of the Philippines not otherwise disqualified by law, who are at least 18 years of age and who shall have resided in the Philippines for at least 1 year in the place where the purpose of vote at least 6 months immediately preceding in the election. Meaning the voters here in the Philippines, and you can start voting when you are 18 years of age, and you can and how important is suffrage. It is being able to vote, a key part of citizenship, and allows each person to have their say about what is important to them and what they think their life should be like. In Tagalog, it is their roles and responsibility kung sino ang kanilang iboboto. And what is the article of the Philippine Constitution is all about? It is no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the laws. So, how did suffrage in the Philippines start? The National Assembly in the Philippines announced the plebiscite in 1937, which would decide whether or not women should gain the right to vote. And what is the meaning of your vote, our future? Our future, as a core citizen, voter education materials, it covers the broader aspect of political and electoral system, human rights, and governments. So what is the importance of voters education in the Philippines? Specifically, the citizen voter education module aims to acquaint the electorate with the basic concepts of democracy and the role of election in democracy and government stress of importance of one's vote. It is encouraged for every people to vote when you get an 18, so that you can vote for people or who are in mga nilansab. Article number 6, the legislative department. There are, I think, 32 sections. Yes, there are 32 sections in this article. And in this article, it is all about the law or laws. So the laws meaning is refers to the statutes which are the written enactments of a legislator governing the relation of people among themselves or between them and government and its agencies. So in this article, the legislative branch is a charge of making laws. It is made up every laws nanggaling or made up of the Congress and the several government agencies. In the Congress, there are two parts, the House of Representatives and the Senate. Members of the House of Representatives and the Senate are voted into office by American citizens in each state. So what is the purpose of legislator? The legislative branch of government is responsible, meaning responsible siya na gumawa ng making laws in every country or in our country. Legislators are made up of people called legislators who in democracies are elected by country's population. So binoto sa mga tao dito sa Pilipinas. In section number 2, in article number 6, it is the supremacy clause of the Constitution of the United States established, meaning in the Constitution, federal laws made pursuant to it, and treaties made under its authority. So why legislator is most important? Because it is necessary and its organ of a government that make a laws, passes them, and also amends all laws. So before the laws will be released, there will be magplano sila at they will have a meeting so that they can make it as a one plan if others are agreed the laws that they have make it. So why the makers of the laws or legislator are important? Because they are the principal ones and they can balancing the power, representing the constitution and making laws. And the meaning of the laws in this article. So bakit ang law is very important? Because kung walang laws in every country, we have no sovereignty. Like in the article number 1. So the term laws, as used previously, it refers, as I said, a status, article written enactments of the legislator and governing in the relationship. So the legislative power, lastly, in this article is essential, the authority, autoridad sa mga government para mag-act sila ng laws, repeal, and amend them as well. Article number 7, Executive Department. There are 23 sections in this article. So my thought and my opinion about this article is it is all about the executive branch of the government. Article number 7, Section 1. Section 1 of the 1987 Constitution vests the executive power of the President of the Philippines, meaning the power of the President, which he or she rules in every country. So the President is the head of state and the head of government, kasi siya ang namumuno sa mga country and function as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So, what are the roles and powers of the President defined in Article number 7? Except in cases of impeachment or the other was provided in Constitution, meaning the President may grant reprieves, commutations, and pardons on merit fines and penalties after conviction by final judgment. So after in another article, President ang namumuno sa Pilipinas, so he or she will rule, and it is his or her the power para unite ang mga tao dito sa Pilipinas. So, in executive branch, there are two charged with it. It is the execution and administration of the country laws. In general, the executive branch sets the direction of national policy. In the executive power, it is the power to enforce, to administer the laws. And the executive power is vested in the President of the Philippines. So, as I said, that he or she has a power to do the laws. And the meaning of the executive department in this article, it is a federal department in the executive branch of the government of the United States, Department of the Federal Government, Federal Department of Federal Office. So ano ang mga primarily role sa mga executive branch? For me, ang executive branch is they carry out and enforces laws. So meaning they are the one who release the laws after they are done judgment or nagplano sila or meaning they are done meeting with the laws. In article number 8, the judicial department, meaning it is a system of courts that interprets and applies the law in the name of the state. So the judicial power shall be vested in one Supreme Court and its such lower courts as may be established in law. Meaning that the judicial power shall be vested, ma-release ang mga laws mga laws after they are done meeting with the laws that they are going to make. So what is the article is all about? It is to protect your right to respect for your private and family life. It also corresponds. So, ang masasabi ko sa judicial system in the Philippines, it is established the Constitution. There are 3 levels of lower courts, which are established to the law by the Congress of the Philippines. And as I read the Constitution, I read the article number 8. Ang judicial review is a type of court na ma-proceed siya in which the judge reviews the lawfulness of the decision or action made by the public body. In other words, judicial reviews are a challenge to the way in which a decision has been made, rather than the rights and wrongs of the conclusion reached. So, what are the rules and responsibilities of the judiciary department? It plays a fundamental role in the society and for the upholding of social order. Its primary function, in fact, siya mag-resolve sa mga conflicts and problems na existing siya norms in some persons, which has been issued through legitimate procedures as recognized sa political system. So, mga responsibilities sa the judiciary department is the power rest with the Supreme Court and lower courts as established by as the article number 7 earlier. and their duty is to settle actual controversies involving rights or are legally demandable and enforceable. Article number 9, Constitutional Commission. There are four um there are four parts parts in this article. First is the common profession. Second, the Civil Service Commission. The third is the Commission of Election. The fourth and the last is Commission on Audit. So there are in every part in this article there are every section. So my thought in my explanation about this article, it is all about the exercise the following powers and function. Enforce the administer laws and regulation relative to the conduct of the election, plebiscite, initiative, referendum, and recall. So ang purpose dito sa the purpose of this article is to prepare a draft constitution for consideration of adoption by another body. In this constitutional commission, it should be independent, meaning isa-isa siya, and independent like isa-isa lang, and the constitutional commission shall appoint their officials and employees na according accordance with law. And yes, like I said, it should be shall enjoy fiscal autonomy. And a constitutional commission created by the 1987 Constitution, and this all about the governmental bodies that are independent of the three main branches of government. These are the Constitutional Commission, the Civil Service. Ang mga members dito sa Constitutional Commission, there are amendments of the additional provision, and the role of this commission appointments in the part 3 of this article is vested with the power to approve or disapprove appointments by the President of the Philippines in confirmation which is required under the Constitution. Article number 10, the local government. In this article, my explanation is, according to the law, this code establishes the system and defines powers of provincial, city, municipal, and barangay governments in the Philippines. Meaning, he or she has a power in every group, or I think in every group like province, city, and it provides for a more responsive local government structure and through a system of decentralization whereby the local government units are delegated more powers, authority, responsibilities, and resources. So, who is the power, or the father of a local government code? He is our former Senate President Aquino Nini Pimentel Jr., the father of a local government code. There are three local government. Therefore, four. So, autonomous regions. So, what is autonomous regions? Autonomous regions have more powers than other local governments. It is governed by the regional governor and a legislator. Second, provinces. Provinces are organized into component cities and municipalities, like we are living right now. So I'm in province right now, which is the Tabugon. So we can call that a province. So a province is governed by the governor and a legislator known as Sangguniang Panlalawigan. Third, cities and municipalities. Cities and municipalities are governed by the mayors and legislators, known as Sangguniang Panglungsod. And cities and Sangguniang Bayan in the municipalities. Like me, our municipality here named Tabugon. The fourth one is the barangays. This is the smallest of the local government unit. A barangay executive is the puno barangay o parang puno po barangay captain. And it's the legislator of Sangguniang barangay, composed barangay captain, barangay kawads, and the executive chairman. So we all know that because we know that we have our barangay, we all know that we have our every captain where we live. So, ano responsibility nila sa local government? They should be provide facilities and research services for agriculture and fishery activities, health services, social welfare services, job placement, information system, public library, and there are many more. Article number 11, accountability of public officers. In this article, there are 18 sections, and there are some sections that they have the parts, and they have the meaning. So my explanation about this article, it is that the public office is a public trust. Public officers and employees must all the times be accountable to the people because they are going to serve, and they have the responsibility and integrity in how they are loyal and efficiency in how they act about patriotism and justice and the modest lives. So what is the accountability of public officer? The public officials and employees shall be like I said, that they are be accountable to the people in that particular place. So what are the examples of accountability? They are the people who going to speak. We all know that criticism are our words, so they should have to accept it and they communicate better in how they hold and how they treat the people and show the proactiveness. And they are the people who bring solution from problems at the workplace. And also it the constitution is based on important principles that will help to ensure governance by popular sovereignty. And this constitution they set those limits so that citizens know what their government is allowed to do and what is not allowed to do. Article number 12, National Economy and Patrimony. This article means that it says that the term state, it's all about the state. It says that the context requires and the state includes two following. The first is the government and parliament, that is executive and legislature of the union. The second, the government and legislature of each state. In this state, the constitution is based on how important the principles that they will help to ensure government by the popular sovereignty. In this constitution, they set limits so that the citizen know what is the government made the allowed laws and which is not allowed to do it. So the national economy and patrimony in this policy, it is to give preference or dominance of every Filipinos and their own country, especially that they have their own rights, privileges, and concession involving the national economy and patrimony and make them competitive against foreigners in both domestic and foreign competition. And lastly, the Congress will provide for applicability of customary laws, government property rights, and relation in determining the ownership and extent of the ancestral domain. Article number 13, the social justice and human rights. In this article, there are 90 sections, and there are also parts and the sections. First is the labor. Second, agrarian and natural resources reform. The third, urban land reform and housing. The fourth, health. Next, women. And lastly, human rights. So it is all about the social justice. It is all about working towards a more equal society. Part of this is ensuring that people are treated with dignity and respect by those with public power. Also, the main goal of human rights are not just only values, but the equality in this article or in every life. And in this article, article number 8, number 13, the human rights of the Constitution provides that the state shall protect working women by providing safe and helpful working conditions. Meaning taking into account their maternal functions and facilities that will enhance their welfare and enable them to realize. So also in this article in section number 1, the Congress shall give highest priority to the enactment of measures that protect and enhance the right of the people to human dignity, reduce social, economic, and political inequalities, and remove cultural inequalities and equitably diffusing wealth and political power of common good. Lastly, my thought and opinion in this article is it is the human dignity, the equality, like I said earlier, and in which apply in all individuals indiscriminately. Article number 14, education, science, and technology, arts, culture, and sports. In this article, there are 19 sections, including the sports, arts and cultures, science, technology, language, and education. So, my thought or explanation in this article is the Constitution provides and the state shall foster the preservation, enrichment, and dynamic evolution of Filipino national culture based on the principle of unity and diversity in a climate of free artistic and intellectual expression. The cultural heritage of the nation is one of the foundation of nation building and to a great extent leads direction to the shaping of national destiny. So, in all, it is about the education. The state should be, must provide quantity for education for all, and thus everything to reach out the farthest community to educate each citizen of the country for free as much as possible. The state also shall protect in this article and promote the right for all citizens to quantity education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible at all. Meaning it is good for all. Yeah, it is good for all. And in other part, the article number 14 is deal with the academic freedom shall be enjoyed for this institution of higher learning. Every citizen has a right to select a profession of course study, subject to fair, reasonable, equitable admission, and academic requirements. Meaning, just like us, that whatever it is our responsible, or I think meaning it is our right to choose what would be our chosen career or chosen course of study. And lastly, for my understanding, that it is all the educational institution shall include the study of the constitutional as part of curriculum. Article number 15, the family. There are 4 sections in this article. So what does it mean for me, the family? Simply, family is everything. It is where we began to love. It is the reason why people live our life. Our family is love. Everything begins with a family. People can sacrifice anything or everything just for the sake of each family. And each one of us has its own family and can be with us whatever happens. Like maglabag tayo sa guys, sa ilang mga batas. Like, our family has always been there for us through ups and downs, thick and thin. That can stand beside us in every ups and downs of our journey. About what the family is in this article. So, our family is very important to us because in every problem or consequences in our life, will be always there to guide us, to be with us, to fight for us, and the family can do anything. That's why family is everything. In this article, the state recognized the Filipino family as the foundation of a nation. We all know that a family is everything. It shall be strengthened, its solidarity, and actively promote its total development. The family has a duty to care for its elderly members, but the state may also do so through just programs and social security. And why is the family included in this article? Because there is a family code in this constitution of the Philippines, recognize a family constituted through the union of a man and a woman. And also lastly, it classifies family relations as those between a husband and a wife, between parents and their children, and among full or half-blood siblings. Article number 16. In this article, there are 12 sections in this article. So my thought or my explanation about this article, it is the state shall protect the advance the right of the people into balance the healthy ecology in accord with the rhythm and harmony of nature. The state shall develop a self-reliant and independent national economy effectively controlled by the Filipinos. So the provision, what are the provision of the 1987 Constitution? No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, property without the due process of law. And in this constitution, any person who shall directly or either indirectly offer, give, or promised any money or thing of valid testimonial privilege of personal advantage to any executive of judicial officer or member of legislature of influence him in the performance of any of his public or official duty shall be guilty of bribery. Article number 17, amendments or revision. In this article, there are 4 sections. My thought or explanation in this article, it is a resolution noted that stakeholders from different sectors of society have conducted studies, consultation, and have submitted to the Congress of the Philippines several proposals to amend or revise the 1987 Constitution. So, what is the amendments and revision in this Constitution? The amendments is the alteration of an existing Constitution by addition or subtraction of material, while revision is the replacement of one Constitution by another. And also, the revision is specifically referenced in the Constitution of 23 states. So what are the ways to amend or revise the 1987 Philippine Constitution? The amendments to this Constitution may likewise be directly proposed by the people through initiative upon a petition of at least 12% of the total number of registered voters. So the purpose of amendments or revision of this Constitution, the amendments will be proposed by either by the Congress with a 2/3 majority vote in both the House of Representatives and the Senate by the Constitutional Convention called the Third of State Legislators. So, lastly, the amendments and revision of this article allows laws and policies to be refined over time rather than replaced outright. Local and state, and federal laws can be changed through the ratification of amendments. Lastly, Article number 18, transitory provision. And this article, there are 27 sections. My thought and explanation in this article, it is about the first local election shall be held on a day to be determined by the president, which be simultaneous with the election of members of the Congress. It shall include the election of all members of a city or municipal councils in Metropolitan Manila area. In short, it is a heart in a crown. It's a heart and a crown. And transitory provision, it is a law of statutory provision that regulates a process that starts before amendment or enactment of a statute comes into force and ends after the amendment in enactment of a statute has come in force. So what is in this article, what is the purpose? The purpose is affirms labor as a primary social economic force. It shall protect the rights of workers and promote their welfare. The state shall develop a self-reliant and independent of national economy effectively controlled by the laws.